Welcome to one of the most iconic tracks on the Formula One calendar, the Spa-Francorchamps circuit. 44 laps of pure racing through the Belgian forests, 102 metres of elevation change at this track. The brunt of that coming at the infamous Eau Rouge corner, a corner every driver aspires to go flying through in their career. The grandstands are packed here on the Sunday at Spa as we look towards an exciting race, spearheaded by the one and only Lewis Hamilton, as we look towards the rest of the grid here today. As previously mentioned, Lewis Hamilton leads the way with his 7th pole position at Spa. Alongside him, Max Verstappen, high chance of tempers flaring as they go into turn 1 together. The rookie Antonelli 3rd, followed by Lando Norris, George Russell in 5th, and the other McLaren of Piastri in 6th. Tsunoda 7th, and Charles Leclerc 8th, and Alex Albon 9th, with Hadjar rounding out the top 10. Lawson and Sainz in 11th and 12th, Stroll and Alonso 13th and 14th on the grid. The two Hasses 15th and 16th, Bortoleto 17th, Doohan 18th, and rounding out the grid, Pierre Gasly and Nico Hulkenberg. This should be a very interesting race, as it always is at this circuit, especially with the dynamic of Verstappen and Hamilton, who we know don't have the friendliest history. But Hamilton is on pole for the first time in the Scuderia. So we'll see. Here come the 5 red lights as we prepare for the Belgian Grand Prix, and it's foot to the floor for the 20 drivers, and we're underway. It's a good start for Lewis Hamilton in the Ferrari. He comes across the cover, Max Verstappen, the rookie Kimi Antonelli down the inside of the Dutchman, but he can't quite make it happen and gets compromised, and now finds himself under pressure from George Russell. But Hamilton leads cleanly through turn 1 here at Belgium, up through Eau Rouge. Antonelli and Russell very close. Russell with the better run will look for it as they fly down the Kemmel Straight. The fans are bouncing on the hills on the side by side between the Mercedes drivers. Verstappen looks to go for the lead into Lecomte. Russell is up into the podium places. That's 2 positions gained for the Mercedes. Hamilton holds off Verstappen. Russell is now hounding the Red Bull, but Hamilton leads from his 2021 championship rival. And it's all clean through the first sector for these 20 drivers. Watching a replay with this start from Kimi Antonelli. Initially, the reaction wasn't great, but the traction was awfully impressive from the rookie. He sends it down the inside of Max Verstappen, but obviously that means they'll have a compromised line through turn 1, heading into Eau Rouge. Russell behind will have the better line, will be closer going into Eau Rouge. As you see, he doesn't fully send it. There's a bit of nerve for the rookie, as it's obviously his first racing lap at Spa in a Formula 1 car. And Russell flies through on the left-hand side. Maybe a tactical not fighting too hard for Antonelli. George Russell's awfully close to Max Verstappen. He takes a different racing line through Eau Rouge, which gives him a beautiful exit. He goes side by side with the Red Bull. Mercedes and Red Bull going through. Russell has the run on Hamilton with the DRS. Through he goes into turn 1, into Lecomte. Hamilton has a look down the inside. Verstappen looking to go through, and Hamilton into the gravel for George Russell. Now he might come under pressure with that compromised exit. He has to defend the inside to stop the 7-time world champion sneaking through. But Russell with an amazing double overtake down the Kemmel Straight to get into first place. He started 5th, 4 positions gained in 2 laps for the Mercedes, and it's a good start. The Red Bull of Max Verstappen is all over the back of Lewis Hamilton right now, pushing him through the bus stop chicane as Hamilton seems to have lost a bit of pace. That Ferrari's race pace maybe is not as good as it was on the Saturday. But as we head on to lap 4, Russell still maintaining the lead and is beginning to pull away from Lewis Hamilton, who is starting a train of cars, including the Red Bull of Verstappen, the Mercedes of Antonelli, the McLarens, and his teammate of Leclerc alongside Tsunoda. But into Eau Rouge, Verstappen should have the better run on the Ferrari. Here comes the Red Bull along the Kemmel Straight. He will have a look. He's going to have the DRS, but so will Hamilton on Russell, as he's just about managed to keep it in. Max Verstappen goes for it into Lecomte, round the outside. Side by side they go. Verstappen with the better line. Hamilton comes back at him though. Amazing side-by-side action, but Verstappen pulls ahead of the Ferrari and takes 2nd place from the 7-time world champion. Whilst the battle ahead was happening, there was another move that happened further back. Kimi Antonelli under pressure from Lando Norris, who has a simple move with the DRS along the Kemmel Straight. And it's easy into Lecomte for Lando. He's up into 4th place. And he will go and look to get onto the podium now. We're approaching the pit stops now, but Esteban Ocon has a beautiful run on the Williams. Looks to go to the outside, but that's covered off by the Spaniard. So he looks to the inside instead. Powering through is the Haas. Side by side into Lecomte. Sainz is not giving this up without a fight, but that Haas with the better traction around the outside. And Ocon finds himself in the points after starting 16th behind his teammate. It's a beautiful comeback drive for the Frenchman. Our first pit stops are coming in now. George Russell makes his way into the pit lane to come off those old soft tyres. Quick pit stop for the Mercedes team. You can see the aggressive graining on those soft tyres, but it's onto a smoother set of mediums now. It's a good pit stop from the Mercedes crew. He's got a bit of breathing room to Max Verstappen now. However, unfortunately for Russell, he's going to come out in the middle of this pack, this midfield battle, just behind Behrman. So thankfully, that's only one car he'll have to pass in this midfield fight. But unfortunately for Verstappen, he's come out miles behind. That subpar pit stop from Red Bull has meant there's 4 cars in between Russell and Verstappen, and he will lose heaps of time here. But George Russell, stuck behind Behrman, could have a little look. It's opportunistic from the Mercedes. Daniel Ricciardo-esque, finds the inside line. Very opportunistic, but Russell, with a beautiful dive bomb, gets back into the top 10. And now has even more cars between him and Max Verstappen as he looks to pull away. Heading towards Blanchimont now, George Russell with a much better run than the VCarbs, who are still yet to pit. He's soaring on these fresh mediums as the Mercedes cuts onto the grass a little bit, as there was little space afforded to him by the rookie of Isaac Hadjar. Now down the inside of the bus stop chicane on Liam Lawson. Clean through, side by side, in through the final corner. But out onto the start-finish straight, onto lap 7. George Russell is clear of Liam Lawson and in back into the top 3. Norris and Sainz still yet to pit from 1st and 2nd in the Grand Prix. But now in on lap 7 is Lando Norris from the lead of the Grand Prix. The McLaren was running in 4th. So we'll see how the overcut fares for him. Off his hard tyres, onto a fresh set of softs. And he'll be ready to roar around this track and set purple sector after purple sector as he looks to go on a charge for the podium. Russell inherits the lead of the Grand Prix with a sizable gap to Max Verstappen now. But it looks like Lando Norris is going to come out behind his teammate here. So he's lost a few places, but with the tyre advantage, it should be fairly simple for the Brit to find his way through and possibly onto the podiums, but he'll have to get past 2 Ferraris first. Lewis Hamilton, with a worrying lack of pace, he goes through Blanchimont, and Charles Leclerc is getting well away from him, and it's not been a good story here today for Lewis Hamilton. He started on pole, he's now struggling to hold on to even 4th place, with 2 McLarens in much better machinery right behind him. It looks dire for Lewis Hamilton at the moment in the Ferrari. If we cast our minds back to last year, we remember George Russell was disqualified from the win of the race, and Lewis Hamilton inherited that win from him as he had too much plank wear, did the Silver Arrow. He's got a podium here before. This is a place of many memories, and as he rounds the final bus stop, the crowds jump onto their feet for George Russell, who wins the Belgian Grand Prix, hopefully for the first time in his career, if he doesn't get disqualified. Max Verstappen is clearly the second best driver here today, comes across the line for an impressive P2, and Charles Leclerc holds on to P3.